Larry, thank you for being here with me today. What are your thoughts on House Bill 3017?
Well, it's kind of similar thoughts to a lot of the bills I think that I've been hearing about. They're primarily appears to be trying to put up some roadblocks. We're in a state that needs a lot more energy, and we need a lot of opportunities to keep the costs low or drive the costs lower for consumers. And so I would put this one in the category of it appears to be putting a roadblocks up that at a time when we really need more energy across the state, not less.
Do you feel as though, this additional tax on solar and wind producers would carry over to consumers, that consumers would have to pay additional costs as a result of this?
No, yeah, I mean the companies aren't just going to eat it; they're gonna pass it on. And I think the other thing that's a little interesting is that if it's calling out concerns about subsidies for just wind and solar, uh, there's a lot of other uh, subsidies now in place for nuclear, geothermal, hydrogen, carbon capture. So if it's a concern about subsidies, then it seems like the bill would also include all of those subsidies as well. It just seems to be kind of like more we're trying to pick winners and losers than trying to do something that's really good for Texans.
Do you feel as though this would discourage investment in Texas in the future?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. It's another one of the things that, businesses can adapt to a lot of different things, but the things they have the biggest problem with is uncertainty. And so if, we're in a position here in Texas where we're generally business friendly, we have generally some pretty stable business regulations or streamlined regulations, and throwing up these barriers every other or attempting to throw up these barriers every couple of years makes it less stable for the business environment, and maybe they'll look to go other places, which would be unfortunate for Texas.
And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. As Texas goes into the future, would you like to see more green energy solutions, oil and gas energy solutions, and how may this law impact that?
Well, I definitely think we need to be transitioning to more clean energy. The world is decarbonizing. Uh, the George Mitchell, who's the father of fracking, created a foundation that has recently put out a report that said the world's decarbonizing, and if Texas ignores the challenge to decarbonize its economy, it may eventually face the more difficult challenge of selling carbon-intensive products to customers around the world who may not want them anymore. And so I think we need to keep that in mind. We don't, I have four grandkids now, me and my wife, and every megawatt hour of electricity that's produced that doesn't dump heat trapping gases into the atmosphere for free is a win for them. And I think the economy, the market is speaking and saying let's put in more renewable energy, let's put in more clean energy. We shouldn't put up barriers to stop the market.
And if I heard you right before this interview, you said you were an electrical engineer. Walk me through what exactly is 1 megawatt? How can you sort of quantify that for our audience?
Yeah, so basically a megawatt hour of energy is 1,000 kilowatt hours. So, a lot of times you get on your electricity bill, you used 1,000 kilowatt hours this month. So that would be equivalent to 1 megawatt of electricity. So, it's a standard measure that the people in the grid use to keep track of how much energy is being produced. So if you're producing 1 megawatt of power and you did that for 1 hour, then that would be 1 megawatt hour of energy.
Let's say this bill were revised to say there were an additional tax on producers who created 1,000 megawatts. Do you feel that would be acceptable, or you don't feel as though there should be any additional tax for
Well,
these?
no, I mean, I think if they're kind of trying to counter what's perceived as subsidies, the if you're going to level the playing field, then you should be putting a price on uh, energy sources that dump, heat trapping gases into the atmosphere and other types of pollution. And the current federal subsidies are basically trying to counter that effect by providing a credit to energy sources that don't do that. And so, again, I think uh, the we should take advantage of energy credits that are out there. We've had energy subsidies for oil and gas and coal for 50 to 100 years. So I don't think we should just pick on one set of energy sources to try to penalize.
And I do want to get your response to this. I spoke with the author of this bill, Representative Brett Money, Republican from Greenville, and he said, a lot of his thinking was the consumers should decide where the market should go in terms of energy production. That the government should not be providing, uh, helping these producers significantly. That the consumers should decide where to take the market. Your response to that?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point, and I think the challenge there is that uh, to me, it seems like that they're picking, which ones that they're gonna, again, energy sources for, decades and a long time have had subsidies. So why are they just picking on this particular one against subsidies? Here in Texas, we have a lot of benefits for natural gas, for example. We give tax abatements for new natural gas plants. We've now funded through loan guarantees and low cost loans through the Texas Energy Fund. So trying to say that wind and solar are the only ones who get some subsidies is kind of missing the mark from my perspective. And so again, the market and globally, solar is really has taken hold and is continuing to grow. And if we try to put up barriers for wind and solar, then we're basically kind of getting left behind compared to the rest of the world.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell our audience about your thoughts on House Bill 3017?
Yeah, no, I'm a native Texan, lifelong conservative, and I really advocate for expanding diversified economic opportunities using 21st century technology and businesses across Texas. And I think we have a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of market things that have happened that have actually helped promote wind and solar, and the market is speaking. And I think it would be very disappointing to try to artificially put up roadblocks for that.